Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ISM Radio. I'm your host, Gaige, and we are here tonight at Oheka Castle for ISM's Executive Networking event. And I happen to be sitting here with Tina Patel from spacedbyt.com. You can check that out. But welcome to Oheka, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You're very welcome. This is really cool. What a great place, you know. And I know you've been here before, so
yes, it's gorgeous.
It's always fun to come back to the castle. And as I'm sitting here today with the podcast, it went from sunny and 70 out to now I watched the sunset over Cold Spring Harbor here in the back window, and now we're sitting here and it's changed to nighttime.
It's pitch black.
It's pitch black outside, so we can't see the outside like we did earlier. But this place is beautiful, and we're sitting in the library. This place is just so cool. Tell us and tell the people that are listening a little bit about your journey and where you are now. I understand Spaced by T is about 2.5 years old, and it's growing, and it's something you're very passionate about, and you love what you do. So, and it shows. The conversation that we just had, I mean, it was very obvious that you love what you do. So why don't you tell people what you do as far as organizing people's lives and helping them?
Sure. So I would say it all started off with I needed the help. I wanted more time in my day, and I'm like, how can I get more time into my day? And it just came, it started coming down to almost thinking about how can I delegate, because certain tasks need to get done, but I couldn't get them done. And then I remember thinking at one point to myself, I wish I had a clone of myself, because I also was running. I used to work in corporate. I used to be an auditor, and then I fell into recruitment. Then my career grew more into client relationships. So I was really into like building relationships and bringing people in because I was in staffing. So like connecting work and employees and talent to position. And then one afternoon in the summer, this was the summer of July, 2022, and I was organizing in my garage. And I was organizing in between meetings. And then when I had to go in for the meeting, I think I set an alarm. It was a 1 o'clock meeting. I had set the alarm for 12:55. Okay. When the alarm went off at 12:55, I thought, shit, I don't want to go in. I want to sit here. And I sat there, and it was like, that was the moment it hit me. I was covered and surrounded. It was hot because it was July. It was July.
In a garage.
In a garage, unair conditioned. There's bees, which I'm terrified of, cobwebs, spiders. But you were so focused to be there. And I remember thinking in that moment, I was like, wow, you know what? It's so nice to do work that doesn't feel like work. And what if I could just get paid to do this? Because this is fun. And that's what really inspired me, because I realized that us as, even just like society, we take on so much responsibility. We want the career, we want to be healthy, we want to take care of our families, we want to provide for our children, or we want to be able to give back to people in society. But there's so much to get done that we forget all the little things that add up. And it was almost like this thing like, hey, let's all be honest and just kind of admit we all need help keeping our houses together. We all need help keeping everything together. And,
right. And organizing it.
Yeah, and just understanding what you have. And I noticed that it's not just organizing as in like putting things away and making everything like chromatic rainbow colors and bins with labels, but it's about being strategic and smart with the items you want to keep. And, you know, I talk about sustainability. And when I talk about that, I mean being a smart consumer, not overbuying. I mean, there's so many times I'm doing a client's kitchen or pantry, and I might find 18 bottles of red wine vinegar. Right. Because people, they forget that they have it. They're at the grocery store, and they think, oh, just pick it up and buy another one. They use the 2 tablespoons, and then that's it. So I think like the whole point is about being sustainable, but also creating systems that are going to be efficient, that work for your family. They actually save you time.
Right, that there's a flow to the energy that you create in the room, and that's a big part of what you do.
Yes, the whole goal is to make your everyday living easier.
Right, easier. And so there's a flow to the, you know, you want stuff here, it's here. It's, you know, everything's organized in a way that it's going to go with what you do on a daily basis.
Yes.
Which is what people don't understand. The decluttering to their life almost before this process can even take effect.
Absolutely. And I say that, I know earlier we were speaking of this, but when it comes to organization, a lot of people will ask, what do you do? What's your plan? There's no cookie cutter plan. And even with estimates, sometimes it's really difficult to give an estimate to a client because we don't know how long it could take to declutter. Someone needs, they might take a long time to get rid of things. They might need more time. But what I would say is that holding on to things are just going to weigh you down.
Right. That hoarding effect that people take in and they don't realize, look at what this closet has turned into, or like you did the garage.
Right. Exactly.
That.
And then what I say is like, when I'm with the client, I do say we're going to create the organization to work with you. So it's like almost like as I'm understanding what stuff you're keeping, what stuff you need on a day-to-day, and what stuff do you want to store for later, it helps me get an understanding of what your story is like. And that's how the systems are created, because the systems are created to match your lifestyle and your patterns.
Right. And people's lifestyles happen to be so busy these days with both parents working, and they have a maid, and they have all these things to help life flow, but they don't realize that the clutter in their life is what's also creating stress and problems, and that the energy level is totally different when you have problems like that.
Absolutely.
And there's stress. And you're all about the connection and the energy and the flow to it all, which I've already said. But I mean, really, it is the energy in the room that you can help create by reorganizing somebody's life, not just a room.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And it starts with the house. You started in your garage, and that's where it inspired you to take it to another level. So you spoke about the process of it's not so easy to say, hey, this project's going to be $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $25,000. Because you don't know where the project's going to go. It's going to start here, but.
Yeah.
So how do you price that out for people? If people wanted to get an idea and give you a call and reach out to you, not only by going to spaced with a D, byt.com, which would be the best place to go. But how would they find out, get an appraisal or speak to you about what you're going to do?
So when I do a consult, I usually ask the clients, like, I want to understand what their goals are.
Right.
And how long how long has that been a goal of theirs? And has the goal changed over the years? Is that why it's become? And then I also like to know what is the, if they have a big family or a partner, do they have the support of their family and partner to outsource it? Because I know a lot of families have opinions on bringing in an expert to do something that someone maybe could do themselves. And I'm sure anyone can organize, but it's also, it's also about making sure you're doing it strategically. And you want to save time. So when you're bringing in an expert, we're bringing in the knowledge, and we take the guesswork out of it.
And the experience. And like you said, there's a method to the madness. And everybody can organize, but not everybody can organize like you do.
Exactly.
And that's what people need to understand. And I think they do understand it. They just have to come to the realization that I need help.
Yes.
And that's when they come to you. And okay, so somebody finally comes to that realization and gives up and says, they throw everything up in the air and they say, that's it. I need Tina. I need help. That's what you hear from people. What's the next step?
So understanding their goals, and then I guess understanding what is it they want to do. I mean, the first thing we would do is we make decisions. And I know I let clients know there's going to be a lot of decision making. We're going to come, and let's say I'm doing a garage. Everything comes out. So we are physically looking at all of your inventory, and it can be really tough on clients because
somebody wants to keep something, the other one wants to get rid of it. This is personable, so right. So everything has an attachment to someone in the house.
Right, and it can get touchy.
That's got to be tough.
Because they're sentimental items, and some people find it to be, it's not valuable. A lot of people think everything's valuable, and really, when clients say they want to resell it, I know they're not going to resell it. And I let them know, I'm like, listen, how long has it been sitting there? But from there, what we do is we make decisions. And this is really when the client decides, like, what are we keeping? What's donate, what's trash? Now, based on what we're keeping, like the donate, the trash, we take them out, they're out.
That's gone. Never goes back into the space. It leaves the house at that point. Okay.
Yeah, and we remove it. Like Space by T will remove it so it's out of the client's hair and your eye. It's gone. And now we know what we're working with. Now it's about understanding, like, why did you keep this stuff? What's the purpose of this? How, in what way do you use this? And then that's how the blueprint, in a way, of the systems that we're going to set up, that's how they fall into place, is based on what's going to work best for the client. Right. So I often say, I'm like, it's professional, personalized organizing for professionals done professionally.
Right. That's great. And I also love the tagline that you have where it's one's burden is another soul's passion. So this is a big burden for people.
Yes.
And it's your passion, like that whole phrase tagline says. And the burden you spoke about in the garage, that's where it came to play. And you now go into other people's garages and transform it into a whole new energy room for them so they can come in and it flows with what they're looking to do.
Absolutely.
So it's not easy.
The other thing is, I think I've got a lot of the life experience that maybe sometimes, like, I know for expecting growing families, they may not know what's to come. I've gone through that, so I know how to assist an evolving family, growing families, families that are transitioning, families that are, blended families. I have all these systems and ideas and ways to make things move smoother. And yeah, I think I've worked with a lot of different clients. I have a lot of different experiences with like different generations. I'm a product of like immigrant parents, and I have my immigrant grandparents lived with me growing up. So I've seen different generations, but even like just different worlds, cultures meshing together and how to make those systems work and blend.
Well, speaking of the cultures and the different things in society that we see, you're also big on this can happen anywhere. You're willing to travel.
Yeah.
That whole connection, and you're not stuck in one place. You can go do this anywhere.
Yes.
So you're really not limited to where you need to work. You can work with anybody, anywhere. Tell us a little bit about that and maybe some of the places that you've gone to work.
Sure. I mean, the whole point of launching this business, though, was to inspire others to do more of what you love. Because that's what I did. I opened up Space by T, and, as a first-time business owner, it was a bit of a leap of faith. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that I loved this, and I knew enough about how to build relationships and cultivate relationships that I could make this grow. But the whole point was, we all have our gifts. We should outsource what doesn't bring us joy, and we should really focus on what we're good at, so then we can just be our best selves. But when it comes, I'm sorry, what was the question that you wanted me to answer?
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. You touched on good subjects there, but it's where you can travel to do this. Where have you gone, and houses that you fixed?
Oh, sure.
And because I see that on your website that you do travel, and it's a connection that you make with people. That's what you're really good at.
Yes. So the travel that I've done, I do out of state. And the thing is, I'm at a place with the business where I don't want to say no to anyone.
Right.
So any project that I've never done before is the project I want to do.
That's it. So you're looking for that open door for stuff that you haven't done, whether it be, and I'm sure you've done work there, but I'm saying somebody in the Hamptons that's looking to sell a home. Mm-hmm. You're the perfect person to come in and stage that property for them.
Yep.
And tell them a little bit about that.
So when it comes to that is about, with organization, there's so many benefits to getting organized, but number one, money. The more organized you are, the more aware you are of what you have, what you need to buy, what you don't need to buy. But this also comes back to real estate. Homes sell, I think it's like 90% homes sell at a higher price when they look organized and pleasant.
When they're staged properly.
Right, when they're cluttered up and they're not kept well. A client can't picture themselves or envision living there, and they don't really want to. So it's tough for them to want to spend all that extra money because they can't envision the dream. But if you create a home where they're able to picture themselves, that's what you want, because that's when they're going to want to spend money.
Well, that's the reason they're going to hire you.
Yes.
And that's the reason you get the phone call to make that connection and go there and see what their vision is, and then you clean that up so that a real estate agent's going to come in and show it to people that are now asking $14, $15 million for a house in the Hamptons, and you've made it look like the new buyer is going to want to see it.
Exactly.
Because you're looking at it from a different perspective than the person that's selling it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, that's the outside eye, the third eye that you come in and see things with, that they don't have that vision. And I think that's where your passion really comes in, and why spacedbyt.com is so successful. And 2.5 years you're going, and where you're looking to grow the company and keep it going. How do you get leads? Like, how do people reach out to you?
Okay, so one of the things I did want to say with where I travel, I will travel anywhere. I also have virtual sessions. So I have clients that I speak to that are in the Midwest. and in Brooklyn because
right,
she
sure.
just
big brownstones in Brooklyn need to be staged.
She didn't have enough time for like the session, so I said, well, this is a smaller option, and she went with it, so it's awesome. But one of the things I would say with Spaced by T, the reason I had also named it Spaced by T is because I knew in the beginning when you say let's do home organization, let's organize your life, let's organize your office, it's so overwhelming. But if we're doing it space by space, it really isn't. It
simplifies the project.
Exactly. And I wanted it to be Spaced by T because we're together, it could be with a team, but it's to get through it.
But it's a daunting task for most people. Like if I had to clean up this library that we're sitting in right now, I wouldn't even know where I'm going to begin. But you look around and you have the eye for it and the art behind it, which really is your passion, and it shows. But you would know where to start in this room where anybody else would be absolutely clueless.
Yes.
And it's not just staging houses. That's not the only thing that you do. Now, you do this also for businesses.
Correct.
So let's touch base on some of the businesses and how you would go into a business to help the business flow better. And obviously a better workflow is going to be more productive.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, successful businesses all have structure and systems in place. And this is when organization comes in. And I have an auditing background, so I used to audit controls and processes within businesses in my career at one point. And it's been really cool to be able to apply it in this type of work, like as an organizer. Some of my clients are dentists or nurse practitioners, or even they own floral shops and they have inventory rooms. They need to get their inventory organized so that they know when they need to order something or when they're low on something.
Right.
So businesses will have us come in to do inventory and stock so that way they're able to keep up with their demands and what they need to order and what they're running low on. Another thing is also it's coming when it comes down to files. And I was working, and every business owner is going to have a different style and different process. I mean, every industry is different, like medical versus...
And different technology that they use to keep that POS system in place so that they know when they're running low on something.
Exactly. But even in like the medical, professional offices, it's like they have... A patient comes in, they have to have the patient fill this out, and then the patient has to fill this out. And then it's making sure that staff has everything ready. And
that's going down the chain of command, kind of, that it has to come out on the other side.
Right. We're creating systems so the team understands a consistent process. And that way every patient coming in is getting the same information.
You're eliminating those speed bumps along the way to make it a much smoother process for them.
Exactly.
So it's streamlined and more productive and in a timely fashion, saves money, makes money. It's kind of like a win-win situation.
Absolutely. And when I'm doing a process like that, that is not something I just can come up on myself. No. I need to understand what is the flow, because I don't know, like the expert, in that case, the client's going to say, well, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens. And it's like, well, why is this over here and this over here and this over here? This is going to take an extra 3 minutes per patient to
Right, 10 patients, around. There's 30 minutes.
Exactly. So these are the tasks that we would do to increase your productivity, make it efficient so it's not overcomplicated, and then sustainable where people are able to keep up with it, where if someone's out sick, someone's filling in for a day, it's easy to understand.
Right, because there are temporary employees that come into these companies, and that could put a big speed bump in that area where you just refined everything and it makes it a little harder. So touch base on the employees and the stuff that you do, because you said before that, you're not the one going in and pulling the garbage out, the stuff out of the garage and doing it. That's Spaced by T has a staff that goes in. This isn't just you. You're not carrying the boxes and doing the stuff. So
actually, I am.
You're doing it all?
I do have a team with me on projects.
Right.
But generally right now, I'm at a point where I do want to bring other organizers on.
Okay. So you hear that? She's looking for more organizers. If this is your passion, definitely reach out at spacedbyt.com.
Please.
Yes, definitely reach out. But go ahead, continue. Yes.
So but our team, we get really into it. We're pulling everything out, and then I have the team tasked to create categories that make sense. When we just first look at something, it doesn't have to be super narrowed down, but let's at least just come up with categories. And once we've come up with categories, they've sorted it, then we try to sort it even more, and that's when we bring the client in. So my staff is trained to understand how to sort, categorize, take things out, and then they work with the client to help them decide whether something's keep, trash, donate.
Right, let's get rid of the hoarding stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think that is something that's really key when it comes to working with the clients, is being comfortable but not being too pushy, because you don't want to turn them off.
Right, you don't want to throw out family heirlooms just because you think it's junk.
Exactly.
Where it might have some value to them, and they want to hang it on a wall or put it somewhere where now you could make it art decor for them. Or,
right.
You know.
And that's the other thing. I mean, this is going to come with the training, but when you are working with an expert, we know all these resources.
Right.
Like if you have some silver trays and tea kettles from your great-great-great-grandmother, we don't really use silver these days. So you can actually melt that and make it into jewelry. And not everybody knows that.
That's right. So you have these resources to really help them transform some of the stuff into futuristic things that they didn't think were even possible.
Right. And then it's more sustainable. They could pass it down. And I think it's a better way to.
So give me an example of a business that would hire you to come in and really transform something. Would it be just in the office space? Would it be in a warehouse? Like where's like most of your work that you would come in for a business?
So with the business, actually, something I'm working with is I have a pest control company that recently moved into a newer office, and all of their files, like I guess they just kind of
put everything in boxes.
Yes. And now they've grown rapidly. So it's been amazing. They've had such fast growth that they haven't been able to keep up with what's going on in the office. So I told them that's such a good problem, so congratulations.
Right.
But the other thing is, since they've moved into the new office, they've now have like stock and inventory and supplies in the filing cabinets, because they bought filing cabinets, but they didn't have time to put the files in because they had to take care of the accounts. And that's when they had called me. And I mean, that's going to be a full office administration file, like organization of the filing set up, and then it's also going to be an inventory organization.
Right. So that's where your auditing came in handy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because just looking at those boxes would make me tired. Like I have to go through those now. Now, is it digital? Do you convert everything to digital for them, or is everything really just getting organized in new filing systems?
I mean, in this case, it's really up to the client if they want to have everything put in digitally, or their staff might be putting it in. So
right.
I'm there to create the system, make sure it works for them, and then they can let me know, okay, what do we want to take it from here? Do you want me to enter it or our staff to enter it? Do you know what I mean? They can kind of determine how the filing needs to be entered into their system.
Now, this is a company you're working with recently. What would be a business that maybe you didn't work with now, but you see yourself working for? What would be something that would be a big project maybe you would love to do, that you would aspire to do, that people listening can say, hey, listen, I want to hire her because she wants to do? Is there something out there that you would like to organize?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. There's
like Oheka Castle, you want to come in here and revamp?
I would love to organize in here.
You want to come in and revamp this place because, any place could use it. And I'm not saying that Oheka needs it. I'm just saying that, we have an expert here, so why not pick your brain and see where you would, put the piano? So, that's my point, is it could be this, this is a hotel. It could be, you could work with anything at
Absolutely.
any size.
Like it's stock, inventory, when things need to be managed, you need that is when
there has to be a system in place.
Exactly. So it's just having someone to oversee that part of your life for you, and you bring in an expert to take it over. But I would say I really love the idea of I like skincare. I think it'd be fun to work with a dermatologist.
Okay.
I would love to do shows, have my projects shared and videotaped. I think it'd be fun.
Okay. So kind of like a live reality type reality TV.
Yes. I think that would be fun. If there's any construction people that want to partner up, that would be so much fun.
Well, the camera's right there. We're rolling. We're starting reality TV right now with Tina Patel at Spaced with a D. And it's spaced with a D, I keep saying, because I want them to know that it's spaced, and I'm going to spell it SPACEDBYT.com. So it's spacedbyt.com. And is it spaced by T because it's T for Tina?
T is for team or together.
It's team. Okay. Yeah. Spaced by team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I kept it T because it could be spaced by T, because it's just really well and precise.
And it's systematic. It starts with small spaces. It starts here. You have to start with a space.
Yes.
And people have to be able to relinquish that power to you and say, you know what, I need help.
Yes.
You, like you said earlier in a previous discussion, you said that people come to their wits' end. Mm-hmm. So when they come to their wits' end and they call you, what is that phone? I mean, is it like chaos? Are they like, oh my God, I need help? How does the phone call come into you?
It usually comes in where they're like, I'm frustrated with this space and I have my in-laws moving in tomorrow and I need it organized.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's usually where someone's like, they've got some sort of urgent need to get it done.
Right.
Is typically when I get the call. What I do suggest to a lot of my clients is to keep it as more of a consistent basis, because this is one of the best ways I explain this is bringing in a professional organizer is it's similar to bringing a personal trainer for your home.
Right.
It's basically doing the same things. Like when we go to the gym and we hire a trainer, we know what we need to do, but the trainer pushes us further and makes us work harder and gets us to these different goals. And that's exactly what it happens when you're working with a professional organizer.
Or a certified Pilates instructor.
Yes. My fun fact is I was a certified Pilates instructor. I taught for 13 years in Philadelphia and a little bit in New York.
So that's how you were able to tie that in there.
Yes. Well, I think
working in the house is like an instructor.
Yes. But healthy living is, I think, one of our most underrated pieces of health advice is just like taking care of yourself. I think we're always looking for like quick fixes of buying something or maybe like medicating ourselves, but sometimes it's just, why don't we just kind of fix the environment around us?
That's right. And they don't realize the whole time that they're living there that they're cluttering it. And then you come up with that phrase where you say that you love turning clutter and chaos into order and structure.
Yep.
So if they want a little order and structure in their life, they need to call Tina Patel and get over to spacedbyt.com and check it out, because I think that's the answer for everybody out there. It's just whether they knew it or not. So you're new, 2.5 years old as far as a company is concerned.
Yep.
And where do you see the company growing in years to come? What do you see for yourself?
Oh my God, I see us growing and taking on more projects out of state. Mm-hmm. More virtual clients, because I see this passion and this energy spreading, because I think it really is. Our goal isn't just to get your stuff put into bins and put away so your house looks organized, but it's for you to mentally live better and understand like sustainability and understand how you want to spend less. How do you want to use your time?
Right. The order and the structure to the decluttering has a purpose.
Exactly.
And it's to help you be healthier and live a better life and do all these things.
Right. Like it's about doing something that brings you joy.
Right.
Because that's what organizing is for me. So that's what I'm asking everyone. If you hate organizing, let me do it. You should go do what you want.
Do what you're best at. Do what brings you joy.
Yes.
And let Tina clean up all your clutter and your mess and even your garage. I mean, she said she doesn't like the bees, but she was in the garage working under sweaty July environment, hot. That's not fun work.
Yeah.
So that's why people don't like it.
Not for everyone. It was fun for me, though. Yes.
Right.
And that was my moment where I thought, wow.
I'm in my spot right now.
Yeah. I was I like this and I want to make money doing this. And other people should do what they want to do.
Well, we're gonna figure out how to bring this to We're gonna figure out how to bring this to television for a reality series.
Oh, I love it!
Right here on Long Island with Tina Patel, because nobody tells the story better. And I love your energy.
Thank you.
I love your energy to the whole process. I know it's a new company, but you have endless roads ahead of you of where this can go, because you can travel and do this. This is you don't have to have an office.
Yep.
You're on the road. Your staff gets there. So give me an example real fast before we close this out. Yeah. You would go to somebody's house and maybe give them an appraisal and figure out what the project, where it should start, and what it's going to cost?
So when a client calls me and says, I want to organize my garage, I want to organize this, I'm always going to suggest the most hours, because the more hours we put into it, the more meticulous and fine-tune we can get.
Right. It's not a rush job.
Exactly. And I always say it's layers, and it's sort of like a Tetris game where things will come together, especially if, let's say I have a client that's out of state. And I do have clients. I have a client who's out of state. She moved into her house 4 years ago. She's got a thriving career, and she's a partner at a law firm, so she needs to work all the time, but she loves her home, but there's boxes everywhere, and she's got 2 kids, and she doesn't want to do it because she likes to play football and golf. So it's like
life is in the way.
Yeah. So she is someone that saw my LinkedIn post where I was talking about how I love organizing, and if it's not for you, outsource things that don't bring you joy. Like, don't make yourself suffer kind of thing. She must have saw something, and then that's how it happened. And what I do is I go down to her place. We book 2 sessions once a month. And let's say it could be like a Tuesday, Wednesday. And I go once a month for those 2 sessions, and I target specific areas. And it is a process. I was doing a closet, and then we started getting things. They were like toys in the closet. We started putting toys somewhere else. And then the next session, we realized this is now going to be a home for toys. And then by the 4th session, we found a different space. So right.
So one thing leads to another, and it's kind of like a never-ending rabbit hole that you go into.
Because every time we open up a new space or something else is uncleared, it's almost like, ooh, there's a new opportunity. We could actually save more time if we move this here and this and that. So the more we declutter, the more I can get into it, the more brilliant the ideas will get.
Have you ever opened a garage door and been like, oh my God?
Yes.
What was it like? What made you get to that oh my God stage?
I think because the boxes were taller than me, which doesn't take a lot. But in that case, I think it was the first time, all the clutter was above my head.
You were overwhelmed at the height of it?
Yes.
Was it hoarding to the nth degree, or was it just a lot of boxes?
It was
a little bit of both?
Yeah, I was there was definitely some hoarding in there. But, I mean, the boxes were from moving, but because they emptied out a storage unit. So it was just going through stuff. But we got through it so fast because I loved it.
Speaking of, have you ever organized somebody's storage unit?
Yes.
See? Because those storage units could fill up fast, and you're like, I didn't get a big enough one. And now if you hire Tina, you might not need a bigger storage space.
I have clients that...
You need to throw some stuff out, people. Yeah. I'm telling you right now. Just get rid of some stuff.
I'm booked.
You don't need it all.
Yeah, I've the things that people hold on to, I know everyone's got a hard time with letting go of certain things. But I think if we realize we've got to let go of some of that stuff because there's somebody out there that needs it. And I try to tell clients sometimes, this is so silly, but imagine all your stuff that's unused. They're like puppies at an adoption agency. They need to go where they can be
This
used.
will make somebody else. Yeah, somebody else's trash is somebody else's treasure.
Yeah, and there's just so many people out there, and we're some of us are so blessed that we can give back, and we should.
So speaking of giving back, have you ever thought of maybe some of the stuff that is leaving a place, maybe to donate it to another place? Is something like that's ever happened where you've taken stuff and donated it?
Yes. So the cool thing is we're not friends, but I'm connected to a lot of different educators or speech pathologists who sometimes have to go into their own personal pockets to get resources for their students and kids. So when I do find quality items that could be upcycled to educate kids or help out teachers, I definitely do that. And then the other cool thing is recently I had a client that was getting rid of a ton of vases. And I realized, I'm all these vases are going to go and sit in the thrift store. And I was just thinking, how long are they going to sit in a thrift store for, right? And I'm honestly, a floral shop would use this.
Right, they could recycle these and put them at a wedding and get them out.
Yes, and so I ended up connecting with a local florist. And we ended up meeting, we had coffee, we chit-chatted, and I gave her about 12 vases.
Right.
And she was so grateful because she was saying, times are tough. And she's like, I'm not ordering extra vases because I don't know.
There was a supply and demand.
Exactly.
And I love how you said it was an upcycle, not a recycle. That was
yes.
So it's moving. The debris is moving up in the world and coming out of the cluttered closet or garage, basement.
Yes.
Have you worked in a lot of people's basements?
Yes.
Because that's usually the most cluttered That in the garage. You know, if
the
it's
garage
not,
is the garage and the
is
basement.
always but the garage is more than the basement. But the basement, you know, it's usually if it's not a kid's room that's totally organized and a PlayStation for the kids, it usually becomes a place where people just start putting stuff to get it out of the main area of the house for better living.
Yep.
So this is why they need to hire you.
Absolutely.
I love it. Everybody needs Tina.
There's been a lot of wins. I'll say, like one of my clients once we found an $18,000 check. That was cool. That was a good win. A client found some jewelry that she ended up selling, and she got $7,000 for it. So I've had a client where she hired me, and because she wasn't focused on getting her closet, because she had redone her closet or something broke, and she had all of her stuff was all over the floor, and she's like, I have so much work to do. She hired me. She was able to focus on her work and close like over $200K. So if you're strategic with your time, you definitely would be making, it's an investment.
There's a monetary benefit to it.
Exactly.
There's a monetary benefit to hiring Tina Patel.
Yes.
And that's why you want to go to spacedbyt.com. So we were closing out the episode here, and this was a great episode, by the way. You did fantastic. So I don't know how many podcasts you've been on, but you definitely did well. And I think people got a really good idea of what Spaced by T brings to the table, what you're passionate about, and why they should hire you for the things that you do, because you're very good at what you do. I can tell. I saw the website. I mean, the website's fantastic, and I think everybody should go there, check it out. And is there any other social media that you want them to follow you on? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? I know you mentioned, you know, so where should they go to follow you?
I'm on all of them. Facebook, Spaced by T, Professional Organizing. On Instagram, it's spaced_by_T. But if you just type in the word spaced by, it'll show up.
And if you type in the word Spaced by T without a D, anything, just Spaced by T and write Tina Patel, you're going to get, I mean, she pops up. She's the first one on Google that's going to come up with that. So that's kind of
That's awesome, too.
Yeah, that was good. I saw that today.
On LinkedIn. And then TikTok, I'm the funny organizer.
Oh, the funny
I'm
organizer.
a little bit more silly there.
Okay. Now, do you do any live TikToks? Because that would be a good...
I do sometimes do live.
Yeah, it's a little harder because, you know, you're conscious about what you're doing and you got to have the phone. And it's almost like you need a crew there to do it with you.
Exactly. So that's why I don't do it, because I'm like, what if, I don't know, like.
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's kind of hard. But if I'm home and let's say I'm making labels.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I give some behind the scenes info and tips and funny things.
Right. All right. So you're funny about it.
Yes.
All right.
Very funny.
I'm going to have to check those out. No doubt about it. But we're working on, I'm telling you right now, you're hearing it here first. We're working on a reality series where we're going to follow her around and show you some of the great work that she does. It just started here tonight at ISM's Executive Networking event at Oheka Castle. Very excited to be here and excited to meet you and excited for you to come to us tonight. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. You're very welcome. So you guys heard it here. Gaige with ISM and Tina Patel with spacedbyt.com. Go ahead and check it out. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to ISM Radio. Join us for our invitation-only executive networking event at the legendary Oheka Castle. For more information, visit ideastreammarketing.com.